Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back WSWA President and CEO, Craig Wolf.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you're having a great convention. So this is my 15th WSWA convention, my 8th as President and CEO of the association. Now, I've been with WSWA for such a long time, most of you may not recall what I did before I joined the association. I was counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I was both a federal and a state prosecutor before that. Being a prosecutor required me to be a little bit theatrical when I was in front of a jury, of course, but what many of you may not know is that I actually did a bit of community theater when I was in my early prosecuting days. I played Frank Gilbreth, the rather persnickety father in Cheaper by the Dozen. I played Horace Vandergelder, the persnickety boss in The Matchmaker. And I played the persnickety king in Cinderella. Clearly, I was typecast as persnickety in all my roles. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So who would have believed that 20 years later, I would get the opportunity to play 0071 on the big screen in Las Vegas, right? But when the head of our meetings department floated the idea of a Hollywood movie-inspired opening video for the convention, I was a bit hesitant, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Our industry is closely tied to the entertainment industry. Idols of the stage, screen, and recording industry, in addition to star athletes, promote our products, and many now have skin in the game. A few names. P. Diddy, right? Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Fess Parker, the late Fess Parker. Dan Aykroyd, George Clooney with Casamigos. Kenny Chesney, who premiered last year at our convention. Sammy Hagar, Usher, Penelope Cruz, Dave Matthews, Enrique Iglesias, Toby Keith, Tom Seaver, Drew Bledsoe, Wayne Gretzky. The list goes on and on and on. Those celebrities have clearly decided our industry is the place to be. But why? What is it about our industry that attracts this crowd? Why do so many high-profile individuals feel that it's acceptable to get involved with an industry that less than a century ago had fallen into disrepute and was banned by prohibition? And why is it the beverage alcohol industry accepted and embraced by our culture as a large, vibrant, dynamic industry worthy of public support and praise? Now, I believe the answer to that is actually pretty simple. 81 years ago, this country made very smart decisions about how to structure a newly legalized trade in beverage alcohol. They set up a system of checks and balances that created accountability and responsibility and promoted responsible business practices. The three-tier system was designed to ensure that no one tier could dominate the others and that all tiers were held accountable for their actions. And the post-prohibition era regulations were also designed to ensure product integrity and product safety, prevent access by minors, and guarantee efficient tax collection. But it was the decisions of many of the people in this room and your predecessors that allowed us to not just survive, but to thrive. By fostering within our industry a culture of responsibility, by being sensitive to the concerns of our local communities, you created the conditions that allowed this industry to become fully integrated into the social fabric of our culture. We're now praised for our inventiveness and our innovation, and we're celebrated for the instrumental role we play in bringing joy and excitement to life's memorable occasions. Now, while we can take pride in what we've accomplished, we must also remain vigilant to protect the gains that we have earned. All we have accomplished will be lost, and all have been for naught if we forget the lessons of the past and cast aside the systems and practices that have served us so well. Today, we see a dramatic increase in dangerous product and counterfeit product, not just in third world environments, but in modern westernized countries outside the United States. And in this country, there are an increasing number of organizations and businesses that believe the regulations, the checks and balances that have sustained us should now be replaced with a new, more modern paradigm created without serious consideration of the risks associated with a deregulated trade in beverage alcohol. Take a look at what happened in Washington State. a determined group of big box retailers decided to spend, what, $30–40 million on litigation and ballot initiatives over the course of half a dozen years with the goal of imposing their vision of a deregulated system of distribution. And what is the result that we see in Washington State today? Large price increases on the consumer, an increase in product thefts, a dramatic increase in cross-border sales in Oregon and Idaho, fewer independent retailers, and less shelf space for small batch craft distillers and their products and the winery products. Now, more studies are being done, and I expect you're going to see an increase in troubling news coming out of that state in the coming months, all as the result of the modernization inflicted on Washington State consumers. So up next, Oregon. Now, WSWA hasn't taken a formal position on the Oregon situation because we're still waiting to see which of the 8 different versions of deregulation drafted by the Northwest grocers will actually be placed on the ballot this fall, if any of them make it at all. But I can tell you that we do have grave concerns about the strategy employed by the grocers in attempting to circumvent the legislative process as they did in Washington State. Based upon what happened there, it's hard to conceive them putting forward an initiative that creates a level playing field for all of us and which adequately addresses the concerns and the competing interests of those whom they have expressed disdain for in the past. Part of the mission of WSWA is to inform and to educate those who either don't understand or don't appreciate the tremendous success of the 3-tier system, how far we have come as an industry, and how quickly our gains could evaporate if we don't carefully consider the consequences of radical and ill-considered deviations from a system that is without equal, without parallel in the world today. Now, to that end, we have proactively reached out to regulators, for instance, in the United Kingdom, to explain the importance of an independent middle tier in addressing their growing problems with counterfeit and poisonous product, and how to create a more responsible and balanced industry that will work to prevent the binge and underage drinking that continues to plague that island nation. And we've also reached out to state governors and attorneys general who are grappling with an increasingly widespread push for marijuana legalization, offering expert guidance on to help them to make decisions when it comes to instituting appropriate frameworks for the regulatory process that has to be in place. Now, clearly, we want to avoid the types of problems faced by this nation prior to brewer prohibition. It bears repeating that while the 3-tier system is not perfect, it is without doubt the most consumer-friendly, the most accountable, the safest and most efficient system for the distribution of beverage alcohol in the world today, hands down. But the success of that system is no accident. It succeeded because those responsible for creating the regulatory framework carefully considered what was necessary to ensure a safe product distributed by an accountable and responsible industry. And it succeeded because those in the industry, through the years and through associations like WSWA, have zealously guarded against irresponsible changes to the sound framework that was laid as the foundation for its success. Regulation and responsibility are the keys to our success. That's why our industry today is fully integrated into our culture. And that's why our industry is so widely accepted, appreciated, and attractive. The day we forsake responsibility and cast aside appropriate and necessary regulation, forget the necessary ingredients of our success, is the day we start down the path to losing all the goodwill and acceptance that we have gained. Now, that won't happen on my watch. While I enjoyed playing Secret Agent 0071, the most rewarding role I have is working to ensure the continued success of the wholesalers I have the honor to represent and the industry I am privileged to be a part of. Thank you.